Hi, my name is Jillian Zankel, and I'm the president of Challah for Hunger on Elon's campus. And today we're going to learn how to make challah, and in a collaboration with Elon Dining, Campus Kitchen, Challah for Hunger, and the Service Learning LLC, we're going to learn about food insecurity and how we could work towards ending food insecurity on a local level and a global level.
Hey, I'm Chef Adam.
I'm Layla Jackson, the director for Campus Kitchen.
All right, and we're here to make some challah bread. So this is the challah kit. It has all the dry ingredients in it, including the flour, sugar, and yeast. The only thing you'll need is some water and oil, and of course eggs for the egg wash. So what we'll start doing is we'll open the kit. Inside, you'll find your flour, also your directions, okay, and your yeast and sugar, which are right here. Now, first thing we want to do, according to the directions, is you'll take your water and oil, Layla, if you could, pour it in the bowl. And take our pre-measured sugar, just dump it in, and just give that a stir with a spatula. Okay, and then we'll take 3 cups of flour that are in the bag that came with your kit. So if you just want to measure 3 cups, it doesn't have to be perfect, just roughly 3 cups. There you go. And you can even pour it out, it doesn't have to be exact.
Okay.
The thing about bread is that you can tinker with the amounts. Add a little more flour, a little more water, just depends on the humidity that's in your house or outside. And you can give that a nice stir. And you're just gonna mix this till it's somewhat mixed together. You don't have to worry about getting the clumps out. Since we're making this by hand, we're gonna be adding the flour a little bit at a time as opposed to if you're using a electric mixer. At which point you could just basically add most of your flour in at that point, and then the dough hook will take care of the rest. But since we're gonna make it a little easier on ourselves, we're gonna add a little bit at a time, and we'll show you the process of how to actually knead the dough by hand. And the next step, you take some of the flour, roughly a cup, add the yeast, and just give it a nice stir, just kind of distribute the yeast in the flour. All right, and you're gonna add this to the mixture. All right, give that a stir. Okay, now at this point, it's gonna be very loose. It's not really gonna resemble a bread dough at all. So this is when we start adding more flour. So according to your instructions in your kit, you're gonna add flour from 2 to 4 cups, but we're gonna do it until we get the texture that we want. So again, we're gonna add what's in the bag, about a cup, stir that in, keep adding a little more. And eventually it's gonna get a little too stiff to use a spatula, so at that point we're gonna start using our hands to try to work the dough and start kneading it. And at this point we've added all the flour that's in our kit. So we have just a little extra flour on the side to add. It's been raining here the past few days, so it's a little more humid than usual. So we're gonna add some more flour to make up for it. I'm gonna add about another cup. And you typically wanna add more flour to it, maybe a few tablespoons at a time, but since this dough is already so wet, I went ahead and added the whole cup. And it's still looking pretty wet. So at this point, we can probably use our hands. So I just wanna go on a scooping motion like this. Try to flour your hand a little bit so it doesn't stick to your hands as much. Gloves help a lot. If you wanna scoop in another flour, a cup of flour for me. Okay. And again, right now we're adding flour to get the consistency of the challah bread dough. Once we get that consistency, then we'll start the kneading process. Okay, we're almost there. Maybe about 1/4 cup. If you can see the texture of the bread, see how it's still kind of, it's very loose. It's not really forming a dough ball yet. You want to slightly stick at the bottom and you don't want to stick to your hands completely. Alright. See how it's starting to form a shape? It's starting to hold together a little bit more. Take this glove off.
So I can talk a little bit about Campus Kitchen. So Campus Kitchen is an on-campus service organization, and we work to end food insecurity in the Alamance County area. So we have farm shifts, cooking shifts, and delivery shifts. So we harvest food at Loy Farm that then goes to the Lakeside Kitchen, where we prepare the meals on Tuesday nights, and then Wednesday mornings we deliver those meals to our community partners, allied churches, and 2 senior centers in the area.
So at this point, this bread kind of holds together. We're gonna take a little break. We're gonna cover this with plastic or a moist towel, and we're gonna rest it for about 10 minutes, and we'll come back to it. All right, so once our dough is rested about 10 minutes, see I lightly floured it and it's quite sticky. When you put it on your surface, you don't want to stick too much. You can add a little bit of flour, but be conservative with it. You don't want a lot of flour. I just dusted it very lightly. So it's still slightly sticky, that's okay. So the way you knead dough is you bring the top part of it in the middle and push with the heel of your hand in like this and just kind of rotate the dough. A little more flour. Again, just bring it in the middle, push down with the heel, bring it in, push, bring it in, push. Just like this. This is the process of kneading. With an electric mixer, the dough hook essentially does the same thing, but at a much faster rate. And Layla, would you like to try?
Sure.
All right. And then just dust your hands with a little bit of flour,
Okay.
make it easier. And you'll essentially knead this dough for about 6 minutes or so if you're doing it by hand. With an electric mixer, it could probably take 1 to 2 minutes maybe, depending on what speed you have. And that's essentially how you knead the dough. And what we're gonna look for is something called the window pane test. So you'll take a pinch of the dough and you'll, about this size, and you'll just gently stretch it out, like so. And once you stretch it enough, you hold it up to your window or some light in your kitchen, you'll be able to see through slightly without the membrane breaking. So that means that enough gluten has been developed in the dough, hasn't been overworked, it's been worked just enough. At that point, you go ahead and put it in a bowl and proof it until it doubles in size. That could take anywhere between 30 minutes to 2 hours in your kitchen, or if you're having to do laundry that day, laundry would make an awesome proof cabinet. So we'll put it in the bowl, wrap it up, let this proof. Make sure you spray or oil bowl, and yeah. All right, now I'm joined by Jillian. This is the dough that we had proofing for about an hour. And as you can see, it's doubled in size. There's a lot of gas in it, so at which point, Jillian, if you'd like to punch down the dough and knock all the gas out. Perfect. You can take it out of the bowl and put it on the table. And you can see the dough is much easier to handle after it's rested, it's proofed, it's no longer very sticky. So what we're gonna do is this recipe is gonna make 2 hollow loaves. So we'll go ahead and divide it in 2. Perfect. All right, at which point then we can, there's so many different braid styles you can make. Julie, if you wanted to elaborate on the braids.
Yeah, so traditionally a 3-strand braid is the easiest way to go. And if you know how to braid hair, you can definitely braid challah. And usually challah is eaten on Shabbat every Friday night. It's a Jewish tradition. And making challah is a mitzvah, which is a good deed.
I don't know how to braid hair, but I know how to braid challah, so I guess that transitions really well for me.
So what you're gonna do is split your dough into 3 sections. And then as Chef Adam already started, you roll it into a dough, to a little snake.
And you just cut it as even as you can, right? It doesn't have to be exact.
No, does not have to be exact by any means.
We're getting just a little bit of stickiness on here, and that's okay. You don't want to flour your surface when you're trying to make this shape too much, if at all. Because if you do, you're going to lose that friction. You're not going to be able to roll out the snake.
So once you have 3 strands rolled out, you can start forming them together. So I like to start from the top. So I'll lay them out parallel like this. And then if you attach them to the top, like so, and just like braiding hair, or if you know how to braid challah, you put one strand over the other, and whatever strand is on the outside, that's the one that you want to cross over the middle strand. So you go from the left over the middle, and then right over the middle, and you keep following that pattern. And it's okay if each strand is a little bit thick, that's all right. So when it rises, it'll be very fluffy. And if you wanted to get fancy, you could also put the ends together and make it like a circle, like that.
Wow.
Beautiful.
And that's the process. So the braiding's done, the shaping is done, at which point we'll take this, the loaves. We'll put it on our tray, sheet tray. Okay. And we'll make our egg wash. The egg wash is going to give some really nice color to the loaf. And it's also going to allow us to have sesame seeds or poppy seeds so that can adhere to the surface of the bread. So with egg wash, you add 1 egg and just about a teaspoon of water. And just give it a nice stir. Would you like to brush the egg wash on?
Sure.
There you go.
Thank you.
Your oven should be set. If you have convection at home, 300 is fine. You can have a high fan. And if you have this regular standard oven, 350 degrees should do. While your oven's preheating, you're gonna proof this until the loaves are double in size. Again, that could take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on how hot your laundry room is.
And I want to talk a little bit about Challah for Hunger. So we're a nonprofit organization that works to end food insecurity on a global and local level. And so on Elon's campus, normally we get to have in-person baking sessions. So at the School Hillel Center, we'll have students come in and we're able to bake challahs, and then we end up selling it in Moseley. And students and faculty and staff members can purchase the challah. And then the money that we raise goes back to our national organization, and part of it also goes to our local partner, the Second Harvest Food Pantry, right here in Alamance County.
And this is our challah loaf that came straight out of the oven. Here we go. And you know it's done when you have this nice even golden color. You'll see the egg wash, very nice golden brown. Also, there's 2 other ways you can check for doneness. A slight thump, you'll hear somewhat of a hollow sound. If it's a thud, you don't want to really, that means there's not a lot of air in it and there's still density inside the dough. But it sounds ready to go. And also you can check with the thermometer. You want to reach about 190 degrees Fahrenheit, at which point that means it's done. So you rest the dough before you slice it. However, I'm a little impatient, so I like to have really hot and fresh bread whenever I can. So, Jillian, if you'd like to do the honors.
Yeah. And during Shabbat, a blessing is normally said over the dough, which we won't do today, but that's it.
There we go. See that nice, even doneness.
Thank you so much for watching, and we're very excited to help you and learn how to make challah using these baking kits that Challah for Hunger provided for us. So thank you so much.